biggest tools the white supremacists use to control the general population is jealousy. Not just fear of minorities, but fear of minorities being more successful than you as a white person. Because implicitly, deep down, they know that they have a significant advantage over every single immigrant, over black and brown people in the US. Because of factors like racism, all you have to do is look to the government and see how white and how conservative it is. That they cannot accept the fact that somebody who came to America 5 years ago, didn't know any English, and was able to work themselves into society, get a good paying job, and take care of their family is more successful than them. They can't accept the fact that there are people who have come to America and done better in a system that was built for them. That is why I believe that a large portion of racism and bigotry in general is rooted in jealousy. It's not just about white people wanting to hoard the resources, it's about white people wanting to hoard them so other people don't get them. They would rather see people of color fail than another white person succeed, because it's never been about success, it's been about preventing others from doing well. That sort of spite is what keeps them going.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and I hope you are all doing good. White people are coming to the light, and they are openly admitting their reasons for having jealousy for black people, and they are saying they have the fear of minorities being more successful than them. It's something that many have whispered about for years, but now it's being said out loud across interviews, podcasts, and online discussions. Some white Americans are finally admitting their jealousy and fear towards black success. So guys, let's get into this video. I'm going to roll the clips, then I'll be coming back with more commentaries. In case of any thoughts, kindly feel free to let me know in the comment section. Stay tuned.
Oh, I do think that white people are absolutely jealous of black people, specifically with the community, and also with like fashion and music and everything else that is appropriated. But by design of what whiteness is, it inherently lacks community, and I think we're absolutely jealous of that. And I've heard biracial people say that they do see that difference in their own families, because in addition to European cultures being more individualistic than cultures from Africa, South America, and indigenous North American cultures, the invention of whiteness in America erased a lot of ties to actual culture. So when I say like white people, black community, I'm not talking about like Polish people or German people or Irish people. As I explained in my book, I just wrote the intro and I'm working on the conclusion today. You'll keep me in your prayers. In the course of human history, white is a relatively new term. As we discussed in the introduction to this book, white is a North American term emerging from the 1600s as a term to justify the enslavement of Africans and squelch revolts from poor Europeans and indentured servants. Before this term, Europeans would identify with their nationalities. The Irish, Italians, Germans, French are all very different cultures. Thus, there is not the same communal tie to whiteness as there is for people from other communities. Further, since white was created to be a divider, a separator, it is not a happy identity. It is not something people want to admit they relate to. It doesn't have a rich, healthy history. Speaking as a white American who has conducted national level research on white Americans, we tend to say things like we have German, Irish, Italian, etc. ancestry, even if we have never been to those places. This is because all white Americans have ties to immigration, and because these identities are actual cultures, they do not have roots only in oppression. Now, we know who started colonization, right? So this is the book I'm trying to finish by Monday and send to the editor. There's a free chapter in my bio if you're interested on one of the unwritten rules of work. The book is predominantly about class, but I talk about 3 other identities that you can't talk about class without talking about these other identities, and race is absolutely one.
Racism is about jealousy. If you think that's a reductive statement, please stick with me. When I say jealousy, I'm talking about insecurity, which is really what jealousy is, but I think it's easier to understand if I say insecurity rather than just jealousy. Because we know from appropriation that we are very jealous of other cultures. Why would we want to listen to the music, eat the food, wear the clothes, do the hairstyles, have everything, the language, but not give credit where credit is due and not uplift the people who created it? White people are so lost in feeling like they don't have a connection to culture, especially many of us who are very far removed from our European roots. And I think the need to fill that space and that insecurity of this lack of culture and lack of something to call our own is often filled with cultural appropriation and the idea that being white is superior. I was first introduced to this concept of racism being jealousy in college, and I can't trace it back to one particular scholar, but I would like to give credit where credit is due to that Black scholar. If you can find anything tracing it to one particular person, please leave that in the comments. I think it's important to think about racism in this way if we want to unlearn it. Because, as some people say who are non-monogamous, or anyone who's just working on their relationships, jealousy is an indicator that something is not quite right with us. It's an indicator of our insecurity and how we might be feeling. It's not about what our partner is doing or what someone on Instagram is doing with their life that makes us feel inadequate. It's about something going on inside. And I think we really need to interrogate that. What is it about people of color showing excellence, people of color maybe being more in touch with culture, people of color being more in touch with the environment, people of color making better food, and everything else that we envy? What does that trigger in us? And why do we have the need to put those people down? It's about jealousy. And if we can figure out that we're feeling that way and trace that feeling back to maybe some of our unconscious biases, I think it's a lot easier to start thinking about how can we unlearn that? How can I feel secure in my identity as a white person who has roots in maybe Italian and like other cultures, but like doesn't really feel connected to anything? How can I feel secure in myself to not want to put others down, whether that be racism or any other form of discrimination, or just plain hating on another woman because she's amazing? You know, I think this makes it seem like racism is very simple, but it also just helps us frame it in a way that's accessible to us. We know that dismantling racism starts with individual work, and personal growth is all about thinking about the hard things about yourself and the things and parts of yourself that you don't like. And jealousy is one of those things. No one wants to be jealous. It's an awful, awful feeling. And we don't want to admit that we're jealous. And we shy away from that, but it's something we can interrogate, and I think that is going to help us go a long way. Anyway, just my thoughts. Happy Juneteenth. I hopefully will speak about this more coherently in the future. Black Lives Matter.
Even as we continue watching this video, it's a powerful open discussion, and we are here breaking down the growing number of white Americans who are openly admitting their jealousy and fear towards black success. From economics and culture to influence and representation, many are finally speaking the truth about what has been hidden behind silence for generations. That is why I am here to explore on why some white people feel threatened by black excellence and unity, how the fear of becoming a minority is shaping racial tensions in America, and also the deep-rooted history behind envy towards black progress. And this is not about hate, it's about truth, accountability, and understanding the dynamics that shape race relations today. So guys, watch through the end for raw react for the remaining clips, then I'll be coming back with more commentaries.
This is how I know that racism is literally just jealousy. Because if you don't like a group of people, if you don't like someone or something, you leave it alone. You leave them alone. Because if you don't like something or someone, you avoid them. But the thing with racists, or especially anti-black racists, they do not leave us the fuck alone. Like, how can you claim to hate black people yet be obsessed with them and be involved in everything they do? Anti-black racists literally claim to hate black people yet will literally not leave them alone. And you can see this with history. You can see this with segregation era when black people were actually thriving on their own and yet white people destroyed their communities. It's just like, how can you claim to hate us, yet want to be us? And be so obsessed with us and our culture? You try to make us look bad, You come up with these crazy ass slurs to call us. There is just so much anti-blackness throughout America's conception that I literally could make like not even 2 hours. Like I could be ranting about this forever. It's honestly just insane how you claim to hate us, yet you are literally obsessed with us. We live in your head rent-free. Jealousy is a
So guys, drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think is gearing this fear and jealousy? You know, these speakers, these ladies are speaking openly about what makes them uncomfortable, the rise of black excellence, black unity, and the growing influence of minorities across America. Today, we are here breaking it all down, the truth behind these confessions and what they reveal about America's ongoing racial struggle. So to understand the fear, we have to go back to history. You know, for centuries, the system was built to ensure one group stayed on top economically, politically, and socially. But as time passed, things began to change. Black Americans fought for rights, education, and representation. Now, in entertainment, business, sports, and politics, black success stories are everywhere. And for some white people, that shift feels like a loss of control. They admit that when they see a black person succeed, it challenges everything they have been taught about privilege and superiority. That's where the jealousy begins. And online, more and more people are speaking honestly about their feelings. One person wrote while I was perusing through the social media pages, one person said that it's not hate, it's fear. We were raised to think we'd always be ahead, now we are not. And another person said that when I see successful black families, I feel threatened, not because of who they are, but because it shows how much we have been lying to ourselves. These are the kinds of confessions that reveal what's really behind the tension. It's not just about race, it's about power, it's about image, and also insecurity. So there is also this fear of becoming the minority. You know, for years, studies have shown that some white Americans fear the idea of becoming a minority in their own country. By 2045, projections show that no single racial group will hold the majority in the United States. This demographic shift has triggered a wave of anxiety and resentment. Many fear losing cultural dominance, the jobs, influence, and the feeling of being in control. But what they don't realize is that equality is not about losing power, it's about sharing humanity. So why is this jealousy towards black people existing? Black people have shaped the world, from music, fashion, and sports to language and style. What's often copied or commercialized is the same thing that is mocked or judged, and that contradiction fuels jealousy even more. White people admit that they admire the confidence, the creativity, and resilience of black communities, but at the same time, they feel uncomfortable seeing that confidence thrive. It's an emotional conflict, admiration mixed with insecurity. Yes, so jealousy is not just personal, it's systemic. It shows up in hiring practices, school funding, housing discrimination, and media representation. It's the reason why black success stories are sometimes downplayed or dismissed. But the more people speak honestly about this issue, the more we can confront it, not with anger, but with the truth, because you can't fix what you won't face. Yes, the truth is simple. The fear of losing privilege is not the same as being oppressed. And jealousy towards black success won't stop the rise of a people who have worked harder than most just to survive and thrive. Black excellence is not a threat. It's a reflection of what's possible when strength meets struggle. And maybe, just maybe, it's time for everyone to face that truth. Yes, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video discussion powerful, hit that like button, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next one. Guys, Let's talk about it in the comments. Do you think jealousy and fear are the real reasons behind racial tension in America? Kindly, guys, share this video for it to get to a wider audience. And thank you so much for watching. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video. And this video is meant for educational purposes and commentary purposes as well. Peace be with you until next time, guys. Have a nice time.